Welcome to Work in Progress, a virtual worship experience of Myers Park Presbyterian Church. We're thankful you've joined us as today we consider what it means to pick up the mantles that those who have gone before us leave to us, to take up those legacies and live into the tomorrow that God wills for us all. Let us join together in worshiping God.
I remember my first week of college, excited about preparing for the future, what was to come. Orientation was full of getting to know people, icebreakers, fun games, and then classes started. This first week, by the time I got to Friday, I realized I was entering into a world of freedom. A freedom where nobody had a schedule prepared or planned for me. Sounds exciting, right? And yet it was also terrifying. I entered into this new world not knowing what was to come. And then Saturday morning, I was literally woken up by the sound of horse hooves clomping through my dorm room parking lot. It made me realize I am not where I came from. This is my new reality in Amish college town. I thought to myself, how did I get here and where am I going? When we come to these moments in life, these transitions of where we aren't where we were, but we're not where we're yet going, when we stop and give thanks, we remember all of those who have come before us, who have prepared us for this moment. And we give thanks to God who is always with us, even in those in-between moments. So let us come wherever you are. Let us give thanks to God. Please pray with me. There are moments in life, God, that we wonder, how did I get here and where do I go now? When these questions arise, may we pause giving thanks to your faithfulness, shown in big ways and small, and especially shown through those around us. We love you. We thank you, God, for friends and family who show us compassion, for teachers and mentors who have shaped us, for words of encouragement, for safe spaces to explore who we are, for people who bring joy through games and laughter, for shoulders we've cried on. We thank you, God, for those who worked tirelessly so we could enjoy moments of rest, for caregivers, teammates, and all in roles of support, for people who have impacted our lives that we will never know. We pause to give thanks, God, realizing we are not alone. We never were. For your love and faithfulness throughout all the ages is unending, and for this we give you thanks. Amen.
God, my God, I cry out, your beloved needs you now. God, be near, calm my fear, and take my doubt. Your kindness is what pulls me up. Your love is all that draws me in. I will lift my eye to the maker of the mountains I can climb. I will lift my eyes to the calmer of the oceans raging wild. I will lift my eyes to the healer of the hurt I hold inside. I will lift my eye to you. God, my God, let mercy sing her melody over me. God, right here, all I bring is all of me. Your kindness is what pulls me up. Your love is all that draws me in. I will lift my eye to the maker of the mountains I can climb. I will lift my eye to the calmer of the oceans raging wild. I will lift my eye to the healer of the hurt I hold inside. I will lift my eye to you. I will lift my eye to you.
Have you ever heard the phrase passing the mantle? It's meant to describe when leadership is handed on to a new generation or the next person. And it's one of those phrases that's very common in our culture that comes directly from the Bible. It comes from the story that we find in 2 Kings 2, the story of Elijah passing the mantle on to Elisha, his successor. Listen for God's word to us today from 2 Kings, beginning at verse 1 of chapter 2. Now, when the Lord was about to take Elijah up to heaven by a whirlwind, Elijah and Elisha were on their way from Gilgal. Elijah said to Elisha, "Stay here, for the Lord has sent me as far as Bethel." But Elisha said, "As the Lord lives and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." Elisha just can't imagine life without Elijah. It's this powerfully personal statement. I'm not going to leave you. I'm going wherever you go. So they went to Bethel, the story continues. And then the company of prophets who were in Bethel came out to Elisha and they said to him, "Do you know that today the Lord will take your master away from you?" How pastorally sensitive is that for the company of prophets to say, "You know he's leaving you, don't you?" And Elisha responds, "Yes, I know. Keep silent." Elijah said to him, "Elisha, stay here, for the Lord has sent me to Jericho." But he said, "As the Lord lives and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." So they came to Jericho. And the company of prophets who were at Jericho drew near to Elisha, and they said to him, "Do you know that today the Lord will take your master away from you?" And he answered, "Yes, I know. Be silent." And then Elijah said to him, Stay here, for the Lord has sent me to the Jordan." But Elisha said, "You can guess it. As the Lord lives and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." So the two of them went on. And 50 men of the company of prophets also went and stood at some distance from them, as they both were standing by the Jordan. And then Elijah took his mantle, it's a cloak, he rolled it up and struck the water, and the water was parted to the one side and to the other until the two of them crossed on dry ground. That reminds us of the crossing of the Red Sea and of the way that the Israelites entered into the Promised Land. So Elijah does this with Elisha. And then at verse 9, when they had crossed, Elijah said to Elisha, "Tell me what I may do for you before I am taken from you." And Elisha said, "Please let me inherit a double share of your spirit." One commentator about that verse said that means Elisha is essentially saying, "I'm not half the man you are, Elijah." Elijah responded, "You have asked a hard thing, yet if you see me as I am being taken from you, it will be granted you. If not, it will not." And as they continued walking and talking, a chariot of fire and horses of fire separated the two of them, and Elijah ascended in a whirlwind into heaven. Elisha kept watching and crying out, "Father, Father, the chariot of Israel and its horsemen." But when he could no longer see him, he grasped his own clothes and tore them in two pieces. Elisha is just overcome by grief of losing his mentor, his teacher. And he rends his clothes, that biblical image of deep grief and mourning. And then verse 13, he picked up the mantle of Elijah that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. He took the mantle of Elijah that had fallen from him and struck the water, saying, "Where is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" And when he had struck the water was parted to the one side and to the other. And Elisha went over. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Life is lived in the midst of the messiness of what has been and what will be, in the midst of what is. And sometimes those moments come together in profound ways, as we hear in the story of Elijah passing the mantle on to Elisha. When in your life have you faced one of those moments? Who or what have your Elijahs been? Maybe it was a grandparent or a parent, a teacher or a mentor, someone who played such a significant role in shaping your life. And then you faced the moment where it was time for them to go on and for you to pick up the mantle and take what they had given you. Maybe it was their love, their teaching, their counsel. Take that and pick up the mantle and go forward into what will be. Those moments can be filled with the same kind of sadness we hear Elisha express when Elijah is taken up in that whirlwind by the chariots of fire. That deep grief over the loss of what has been. And that's compounded by an anxiety of what will be. Where will I go from here? What will I do? How will I carry on that legacy that's been left to me? This happens to us all in our personal lives, and it happens at every level of our existence. In many ways, right now, it's happening with church. COVID has been a whirlwind that has disrupted and thrown everything into chaos, forced us to let go of what has been. And none of us know what will be. If you had told me when I graduated from seminary that we'd be having a virtual worship service like this, filmed in a studio, I would have said, "You're crazy. I never could have imagined this would happen." I wonder what my mentors think about what we're doing and what we're trying to establish. And in the life of the church, there's so much concern that we're losing Elijah, we're losing what church has been. So many amazing people have gone before us. And in the midst of this whirlwind of COVID, we're having to figure out, how do we pick up the mantle? How do we inherit that double portion of their bold spirit so that we can go forward into that uncertain tomorrow, that what will be? I think at the root of this story is an amazing hope that those who have gone before us indeed have entrusted to us a portion of their spirit, and that God does not leave us forsaken. And so our call in this day is to pick up that mantle, the mantle of what it means to be church, and to go forward into the uncertainty of tomorrow, to not be afraid to take that mantle and strike the rivers, the obstacles that are before us, and watch God do what God does, which is make a way to a new tomorrow. That was true for Elisha when he picked up the mantle of Elijah. And I believe with all my heart that's true for you, it's true for me, and it's true for the life and witness of the church as we go into an uncertain tomorrow. Surely, God is with us. We look forward to journeying in that tomorrow with you. Take care, and God bless you on the way.
Please join me in a prayer for the in-betweens. O God, who is our beginning, who is our end, be also our in-between. Like the colors of the sunset, or the spot where the waves kiss the sand, not quite here, not quite there. Be God, our in-between. Like the lamp that dimly lights our path, one step at a time, teach us to take life day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. Be God, our in-between. On our way from places we've been to the places we'll go, somewhere in the middle, be God, our in-between. When we find ourselves unsettled, unsteady, unsure, in transition, out of place, be God, our in-between. As we witness the groaning of all creation, as we await its desperate renewal, be God, our in-between. As we grapple with fear and grief, and we're not sure how to go forward, make us lie down in green pastures. Be God, our in-between. As we take up mantles of those who went before us, as we stand on their shoulders, as we remember how they loved us, be God, our in-between. As we reckon with mistakes we've made, as we seek to repair, be God, our in-between. As we gather around tables to eat and tell stories, stories of what once was, and stories of what will come to be God, our in-between. As we dream new horizons, new futures, new could-bes, be God, our in-between. O God, who is our beginning, who is our end, be also our in-between. Amen.
Be God, our in-between. What a beautiful prayer amidst the messiness of what has been and what will be and what is. May God be your in-between in the coming days as you pick up whatever mantle those before you have left for you and go forward into a tomorrow where God surely awaits. As you go on your way, may the grace of Christ attend you, the love of God surround you, and the Holy Spirit keep you, that you might live in faith and abound in hope and grow in love this day and forevermore. And all God's people say, Amen.